Hi everyone, welcome back to LL Sports TV. I'm your host Laurie. With me on the panel today, I've got my boy James.
Yes, good to be here.
I've also got my boy Jigs, and we are here to discuss the big fight happening this weekend, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. The big fight. When I say big fight, there's 7 big fights, but the fight we're talking about today is Daniel Dubois of London defending his IBF heavyweight title against New Zealand's Joe Parker. It's the chief support to the main card. And wow, what a fight this is. And with me to discuss it, we're going to talk about it. Let's start with my boy Jigs, who's been in the ring. He knows his way around. He knows what he's talking about. Daniel Dubois, man, he's the current holder of the IBF title. He's on a real roll. He's been knocking out man for fun. You saw what he did with AJ.
I was there.
Absolutely. Oh, right. Yeah, of course. Destroyed him. Now, this fight with Joseph Parker is an interesting one. It's his first defence of the title. Actually, no, it's not his first defence of the title. It's his, how is it? It is his first defence of the title.
Yeah,
he won the title by
AJ.
beating up AJ.
Yeah.
It's his first defence. He's taking on Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker, former champion, himself is on a good roll, beating Jilly Zhang and Deontay Wilder. A lot of people smelling an upset. But what do you think about this fight?
I think it's a great fight, but personally, I rate Dubois what he's done so highly because I feel like when you're winning, it's easy to win. When you're knocked down and out, everyone's telling you you're a quitter. Everything's in your head. You're meant to be the next big thing. To get yourself out of that and come back as a boxer, you have to give credit where it's due. I personally thought at the AJ fight that AJ was going to steamroll him. I thought he was going to be too much for him. When I saw Daniel Dubois come out and jab AJ in his face and AJ's hands were down by his hips, I said, yeah, this guy's ready. Yeah. So big up Dubois. He looks like he's got a bit more swagger about him. He's talking better. He's more confident. So yeah, I think...
What do you put that down to? Because he seems to be a bit of a changed man.
I think it's mindset, man. He might be doing some coaching. You never know. Behind the scenes, he might be doing some coaching, some one-to-one things. You don't know what they're doing.
What do you think of the story that's doing the rounds? That he's got a partner now. He's got a girlfriend, Brazilian girl, and they seem to be getting on very well, obviously, and that's impacted his performances. What do you think of that?
I mean, girls always impact the performance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've had a couple of
sometimes negatively. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100% is probably added to the fuel to the fire, but I think overall it's just confidence, man. He's beaten the best, what's meant to be the best. When people have said that, no, you can't do it, he's come back and he's done it. So
yeah. I mean, let's look at that. He's had his moments. I mean, he lost to Joe Joyce. People said he quit. He then went on another bit of a run. Then he came up against Usyk. He was doing quite well, floored Usyk. Some people say it was low. Me and Jigs, I think you agree with me. We don't think it was low. But anyway, Usyk got up and the rest is history. People said Daniel quit again. But since that fight, man, I mean, look at some of the wins he's had. He busted up Jarrell Miller, beat him up. The Hrgovic fight, cleaned him out when a lot of people said that Hrgovic was going to beat him. And then the AJ fight, like you said, most people expected AJ to knock him out. He absolutely walked through AJ in the start, and no one's come close to doing that.
Listen to his coaches.
AJ, what he did there.
Great game plan.
Amazing. But here we are.
While saying that, I think Parker's also a person that's got confidence at the moment. He's come off the back of 2 good wins himself, so he's in a good position himself. I just personally think from just the eye test, seeing Parker, seeing Dubois, I don't think Parker's going to have enough for Dubois. I think he's hungry. He's a young lion. He's strong. He's fast. He's a lot quicker than I thought he was. I saw that against AJ. I think he does the job. I think he's going to stop Parker. I've seen Parker being stopped. I think he's going to stop Parker. The only way Parker can win is if he makes it an ugly, disgusting fight. I don't think Dubois is going to go into that type of fight. And if he does, I think he will catch him regardless.
And James, I know, having spoken to you about this fight for a while now off camera, I know you feel somewhat differently. Tell the people.
I do.
Why?
Well, first of all, you want to touch on Daniel Dubois and his increase in aura or swagger or confidence, razzmatazz, whatever you want to put it down to. That is very simple. He slept Anthony Joshua in front of 80,000 people, Wembley Stadium,
so you don't
sold
believe in
out.
The girlfriend theory? No?
The girlfriend came off the back of that. That's what I'm saying. He slept AJ in front of 80,000. He's got a new ting. Now he's rolling.
The girlfriend was before.
Oh, was it before?
Yeah, it was before.
Well, there you go. It was probably on commission. You know, maybe if he lost that fight, things might have gone a little bit differently. But that has definitely given him now. It's almost put him in that place as Britain's top heavyweight prospect that everyone's getting behind, kind of like he was 4 or 5 years ago. He's got the belief of the people behind him. But unfortunately for your prediction, Jigs, the jig is up on Daniel Dubois, because Joseph Parker is having a late renaissance of his career. People thought he was going to get battered by Deontay Wilder. They thought this is Deontay Wilder's comeback trail. But what we're seeing with Joseph Parker, we saw it against Zhang as well. Yes, earlier on in the fight, it looked like he was losing, but unlike what people have criticized Daniel Dubois for, where he quits sometimes when things aren't going his way, Joseph Parker has shown the heart and the resilience to get back into those fights. And I think his actual intelligence in the ring, his boxing IQ, is heavily underestimated and has been ever since that original Anthony Joshua loss, and of course the Joe Joyce loss, who ironically beat both of the fighters that we're talking about today.
Stopped them both.
Yeah, exactly. What a career he could have had until obviously he got cleaned out by the Big Bang Zhang. But I think Joseph Parker is really coming into his own now. And again, he's someone who is building up confidence. You're seeing him going into these fights now and actually setting people up, taking the front foot. He's almost like he downloads the data a little bit. He'll let you come onto him a little bit earlier. He'll see what kind of moves you're doing, and he'll set you up into ways where you're going to fall onto his shots. And Daniel Dubois is someone who, yes, he bangs. I think he's got a 95% knockout ratio or something like that. If he connects,
24 fights, 22 wins, 21 by knockout.
But he is also someone who can, which kind of goes with being a knockout boxer, who's going to commit to their shots and may just overcommit to one of those shots. Joseph Parker can catch him clean. I think he's got a great gas tank, Joseph Parker. We've seen him come forward great in the championship rounds. And I think you see him slowly start to set Dubois up, and he might kind of take Dubois into deep waters that he might not be able to do. It's going to be a close fight. As you said, if Dubois catches him, I would not be surprised to see him knock Joseph Parker out. But I really think Joseph Parker's having a late resurgence in his career, and I back him for this fight.
Yeah, you know what? You made a couple of very good points there. One of which is that if Parker's tactics will be to try and take the fight late, to stay away, hopefully stay away from the big shots early, not get caught, and try and take Daniel Dubois into deep waters and hopefully drown him if you're a Joseph Parker fan. But that's easier said than done, man, I've got to say. And listen, with Joseph Parker, you're right as well about the late renaissance. I think him teaming up with Andy Lee has been crucial to that success that he's had, and he is looking a much better fighter. However, I would say this though, you talk about the 2 fights he's had against Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang, and listen, credit is due. 2 very good wins. He wasn't expected to beat either of those guys, but he beat them and beat them well, especially Wilder. However, I would say that neither Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang at this stage of their career are what Daniel Dubois is like right now. Daniel Dubois, for me, is on a different level to both of those guys as of, right now. And I just think that I'm with my guy Jigs, man. I can't see anything other than a Daniel Dubois win. In fact, I was quite surprised to see, not just yourself, but there's a lot of people, pundits, experts, ex-boxers, current boxers. I don't think I've seen many people picking for Dubois, and I find that strange. I mean, based on his previous body of work, we spoke about it, Jerome Millo's a tough guy. A lot of people said that Dubois would struggle, especially if it went late. Well, guess what? It went late, and my man beat him up and stopped him, I think, in that last round. They said this Hrgovic should be too big, too strong. Hrgovic was saying about how he used to have his way with Dubois years ago when they sparred. Look what happened there. And Dubois walked through some big shots early in that fight as well. Hrgovic was landing on him and he took it, came through it, battered him, stopped him, something that no one thought he would do. And of course, the Anthony Joshua was the icing on the cake so far in Dubois' career, absolutely cleaned him out. No one was expecting that. As my boy Jig said, he was there. He said that when he came out and started jabbing it and put it on AJ like that, everyone was shocked. So was I. So, that being said, I can't see a world where Dubois loses. I think he's going to run through Parker, man. And I say that with no disrespect. I just think that Dubois is going to catch him early. I'll be surprised if this fight goes past 6 rounds.
Wow.
And I know that.
Like
I just think the form he's in and the way he's talking and the way he's moving, the only possible way I can see him losing to Parker is if some people are suggesting he might be underestimating Parker, which would obviously be a mistake. But he assures people have asked him that question, do you think you're underestimating Parker? He said, no, I've trained even harder for this fight than I did for the AJ fight. He said he wants the rematch with Usyk. So I think he's motivated, and I think I'm predicting a big win for Dubois. Just very quickly, because I'm conscious of time, got to wrap up. If Dubois wins, Jigs, who do you think he fights next?
Usyk. I think there's no other fight for him. I think Usyk's the fight for him. That's the unify, right? That'll be unification.
Yeah.
Massive fight. After that, the war's the oyster.
Agreed. Now, you've picked Parker to win. If Parker wins, who do you think he'll fight after that?
Well, I think he might be stuck in a rematch. I'm pretty sure there's a rematch clause in this. So if he wins, he might have to fight the Dubois rematch. Irregardless of another Dubois fight, I think he goes for Usyk. I think this is the road to Alexander Usyk. I can't really think of too many other standout names in the heavyweight division that deserve that Usyk fight more than these two right now. So I think if Joseph Parker wins, I think he goes on to fight Usyk.
Yeah, seems to make sense, try and unify the belts, and I think Usyk would be up for it. I think Usyk said he's only got a couple more fights left before he retires, so yeah, either of those two, winner of those two fights Usyk, and I'm good. But listen, guys, thank you so much, Jigs.
Appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much, James.
Pleasure as always.
You've heard what the guys have had to say, you've heard what I've had to say. Make sure you tune into the fight. We will be doing a watch-along, that will be on DR Sports, but we will be doing a post-mortem, if you like, afterwards with these guys giving their views. Make sure you keep it locked and loaded on LL Sports TV. Appreciate you guys watching and supporting. Catch you on the next one. I'm out. Take care.
Peace.